Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. And then, you guys, the summer business boom, it's been so fun to pop into the group, see, there are some people really coaching each other, which is so awesome. You guys are just rocking it. As well as remember the prizes that are up for grabs, okay? So prizes for rank advancing, prizes for enrolling 5 or more people, prizes for creating consultants. So I will say, for example, Miss Paige Holman is on right now. She has enrolled her 6th person during the time frame for today, which is so exciting. Plus, she hit consultant. So Emily Jeans, right, created a consultant. So that is, the Fun Team t-shirt for sure. And then, we're going to actually, so this week is supposed to be the last week of it, but I think it's going so well. We are going to extend it for another week. So until 8/23. So the exact same timing as the 2.0 enrollment contest to hit manager, to hit director, to hit executive, if you're going through those ranks, or to create more consultants. And, I also want to shout out, so Paige has enrolled 6. Gretchen and Danny Schaefer, Gretchen Hein and Danny Schaefer have both enrolled 4, so they're super, super close.
Right there.
Megan Waranek has enrolled 3, and then we have a good chunk of a good group that have each enrolled 2. So Mari Weiss, Danny Leverson, Trisha McMonigal, and Becca Krieger. So congrats, you guys. That's so awesome. 2 weeks, 5 enrollments, $200, summer business boom, all the things. So just wanted to shout that out before we kick off.
Yes, it's time to clean up. There's lots of stuff out there for you. Please, Isagenix is trying to give it away. We're trying to give it away. We want you to take it. Please, take it from us. So we're going to start tonight. If you read the flyer, Allison and I are kind of kicking off a Zoom series for you guys. And in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I'd like it in the chat just so we can all see who is more comfortable leading with the products than the business. If you're leading with the business, like how do you bring that up? How do you talk about it? Is that something that holds you back a little bit? Please throw it in the chat. We want to hear this is a safe space. We want to see it. We want to hear it. Because really leading with the business and doing that pencil push or pencil pitch is something that's really important to your business, because it's the duplication piece. It's the getting people, Eunice, definitely product, all about that. And that's easy to do. But when you're talking about the business, sometimes it's a little more difficult. Sometimes it feels a little more uncomfortable and you don't know how to attack it. So really what Allison and I sat down and are sitting down and doing is putting together a tool. We talk about tools in our system. Hi, Beth. We talk about tools in our system and how important that is. How important it is to get people in front of a tool. How important it is to get people to see the business, to get people to see the compensation plan, to get them to dream and open up their eyes and really think what if. So we were sitting down and we thought, we're going to call this What If. This is Jake and Allison's What If Hour. So we're going to hold these on Wednesdays and Sundays.
And it's really a half hour.
Or half hour, excuse me. Yeah. What
Just
if
so
hour.
You're clear.
Nobody wants to listen to me for an hour. I'll tell you that right now. But really, it's going to be about 30 minutes. We'll try to keep it to 30 minutes. And what it's going to be is you're going to get a tool that you can get in front of anyone. It's going to be the same Zoom link every week. It's going to be the same times. We're going to do Wednesday at 12 Central in the afternoon, like noontime, Wednesday during the day. We're also going to do Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. So wherever you're at, wherever your people are at, those are going to be the times. It's going to be twice a week, every week, indefinitely. And you'll get one of us. We're not sure which one each time, or both. If you're really lucky, you'll get both. But for sure, you'll get one of us. And really, we're going to go through helping you do that. So we're going to be talking about business specifically. We're going to touch on the products a little bit, but it's really going to be for that person who's open to taking a look and thinking, what if something could be different in their life? What if something could be different for them? What if they could make a choice that could set themselves and their family up to really open up their eyes and open up their hearts and dream and really get to where they want to go? Because that's what we want for everyone. And we realize that not everybody's comfortable having that conversation right away. So this is going to be a great tool that you guys can really lean on and use, and we want you to use it. And we want to get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people on these things. And you guys use it too. Like, feel free to log in and hear how we go through things, hear the language, hear how things kind of get set up. The comp plan. Watch us do the comp plan is going to be drawn out and explained every single time. Every single time the comp plan will be there. So if you're not comfortable with the comp plan and you want to see some ways that we do that, great. If you want to see how we talk about leverage, how we talk about network marketing, how we talk about getting into this space and why this space is so dynamic right now, and why specifically with Isagenix in the health and wellness space is kind of that double whammy. Why somebody, if they're really serious about opening up their eyes a little bit, this is the place we want them to be. So what we thought we would do today is take you through just a little bit of that. We're not going to actually do the full on speeches, but we're going to show you some of the slides that we have that we're working with. Okay.
The dog's barking.
The dog's barking. Of course, the dog's barking. But we're show you some of the slides, kind of tell you what we're going to be doing with each slide, just so you kind of have a little bit of a flavor and an idea of how this is going to go. So you can set your people up and you can kind of know what's going on with that. Does that sound good to everyone? All right, I'm going to try, and let's be, cards face up right now. Allison's not here, so I am going to try to share my screen, and we're going to see what happens, because normally she does this stuff. All right, share screen, bazinga, share. Please work. Can everybody see this little PowerPoint action going on right now? Is everybody looking at that? Can you see it? It says what if? All right. We are going to present. So I'm just going to kind of show you standard. That sounds good to me. All right. So yeah, so we're going to open kind of like, just like I was talking about, what if. We're going to start, it'll say Jake and or Allison, obviously, but we're just going to kind of open it up. We're going to start talking a little bit about ourselves, kind of a little bit about our story, tell people who we are so you can let them know a little bit. But we're just going to kind of share a little bit of our background and kind of set up the entire webinar and let them know what we're going to be talking about and going through. So then here with this Isagenix earning, we will have the earnings disclaimer on there. So everybody's going to be excited to hear about that. Just kind of talk about, this is dependent upon skills that can be learned. Not all results are the same for everyone. We don't guarantee anything. It's all about how much you're going to put into this, how brave you're willing to be, how many conversations you're willing to have, and how open you are to coaching and really learning the skills in this business, because this is a skills-based business. It is something that everyone can learn. And I don't care if you come from a sales background where you're selling, airplanes to the military, or if you're the stay-at-home mom who's afraid to sell something to anything because they don't think that they have anything to go with that. So that's going to be on that page. And then I got to move this down because I can't see the whole thing.
Just close it.
So what? Okay, there we go. So yeah, so what if? Like, what if this was something that could change your life? Are you open? Like right now in this economy, especially, like we don't know what's going on. There's people losing their jobs. There's companies that are closing. There's restaurants closing. There's people who aren't able to make rent. There's people who aren't able to make car payments. There's people who don't really know what they're going to do next week as the money runs out. And what if this was the time for you? What if this was an opportunity that you could really jump into and change the course of your life? And we'll talk a little bit about our amazing team. Some of you might see your pictures on there. So that's what we're doing for that. Oh, what just happened? Sorry. Oh, we'll click. All right, yeah, so now we're gonna go into this. So how many of you are familiar with or have seen this before? This is the Robert Kiyosaki model when we're talking about the business model. So we're gonna be talking about the left side, the E and the S, the employee, the self-employed person. That's the time for money. That's the people who are trading time for money. And what we're really looking at is leverage. And leverage is on the right side of that quadrant, the B and the I. So where your money's working for you, where you're looking at making passive income, where we're looking at really using leverage and hours and not being the lone wolf, not being the person with that self-employed, that time for money, where you're literally doing everything. So we're going to talk a little bit briefly about moving from the left side of the quadrant to the right side, and how network marketing specifically is a very, very easy, or not easy, excuse me, simple way for people to move away from the time for money and into the leveraged income space. So you have the lone wolf, kind of that solo entrepreneur. This is another way to get in there, but these are some of the things that, and if that's what you want to do, great. We totally love that. We love the entrepreneurial spirit, but these are some things to think about when you're going at it by yourself. You literally do everything on your own. There's so much money that you have to pour into R&D and getting your product to market, and marketing, and doing your website, and accounts receivable and accounts payable and shipping and returns, and you're your own HR person. You're literally everything. You have to hire your people, you have to fire your people, you have to come up with all of your processes, you have to have IT that's hosting you, because everything is going online right now, and you're going to want some real estate in the online space, and you're doing it all by yourself. It can feel really lonely. So these are, if that's your jam and that's what you really want to do, and that's all about you, great. But if some of those things give you pause for really owning your own business and being your own boss, then looking at network marketing is really something that can get you into that space where you're not worried about so many of those things. And network marketing is a real industry. It's a $193 billion industry annually around the world. And you're partnering with companies that will help you along the way. You're paid for referrals and growing a referral organization. And that's really the key. That point right there is really where we start to get into leverage and growing your referral organization. We have proven systems with this company and with this team specifically that will help you, teach you the steps and show you the path to walk on to get to wherever you want to go with this thing. You want to jump in on anything here? Just going to keep going. So really right here, this is that magic piece where we're looking at going by yourself. And if you start your own business, you can see some of the math is down there at the very bottom. At a very conservative way, you're looking at, working 12 hours a day. You're by yourself 365 days a year, because you got to sleep 6 hours a day. You've got to eat. So we're saying conservatively, you could work 12 hours a day, let alone the other things you have to do to keep yourself afloat, your house, your kids, your family, what have you, your significant other. You could work a maximum with no vacations, no holidays in 1 year, 438 hours. And that's great. 438 hours of productivity, 4,380, hours of productivity that you can bank on, that you can do to bring income into your business, to grow your business. On the flip side, when you're looking at network marketing and leveraging your team, leveraging your referrals, in this example right here, say you grow an organization of roughly 2,000 people in Isagenix, in your network marketing business. And let's say a good average for the company is 20% of people will do a little bit. They'll do a little bit of something, and that would be 400 people. If each of those 400 people worked 1 hour a day for 365 days a year, you get 146,000 hours of productivity. Now, I don't know about you, but looking at that with all of the things you have to do as a solopreneur, you get 4,380 hours, as opposed to taking all of those things off your plate, expanding your workforce, and looking at 146,000 hours of productivity. That's really dynamic to me. And that's where your brain should start moving and your heart should start beating really fast.
Yeah. So, no, that's good.
Oh, you can talk.
Yeah. Maybe hit stop share.
And that, yeah, stop share.
So
that
hit stop share up there.
There it is.
So, and that's that is, so that's just like some of it. And then we go into the product and the company story, and then we'll actually draw out the compensation plan. But what I really, I would say, who on here is excited about the concept of leverage? Who on here is excited about the concept of working 1 hour a day? Yes, Emily Mack, you raised your hand. I know you. I know your dreams on your heart. And Beth doing the thumbs up. I love it. Who on here, you watch something like that and it just makes sense, right? Yes, Teresa, I know you're all about it, especially after working your first 9 to 5. You're like, oh, wait, this is what a 9 to 5 is, right? Who on here is like, okay, I get the concept, and there are people in my life that I just want them to see this. I want them to get it. I want them to sit with me at an Isagenix event. They're in my brain and they swirl around in my brain because I want to do this with them, because I want to spend time growing an organization, and I want to be able to have people change their lives by leveraging their time and growing an income with 146,000 hours, right? And that's if your organization, that's if your number is 2,000. And that includes customers, guys, right? 2,000. And that number may scare you, or that number may sound tiny to you. Either way is totally okay. It's just an example. But the concept of, you know, one person working 12 hours a day, 365 days a year, versus teaching 400 people each to work 1 hour a day. Like, once you know it, it's hard to unknow it. Once I learned it, it was hard for me to unlearn it. And, you know, over time, it continues to grow. And right now, a lot of us, right, are in that space of inviting and presenting and inviting and presenting and growing your team. And I totally get it. For, you know, a lot of people, it's a lot easier to talk products, right? An easy product experience, a simple thing. It's easier to say, oh my gosh, you'll feel so good on these products. You know, I used the 2-minute miracle gel today. That was new for me, right? It's easy to be like, you know, oh my gosh, it's just the feeling of it. But that's why we're doing this. And that's why we want to have something for you guys to be plugging into and to be watching and to be learning and writing down how we're talking through things, because we've had this conversation hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, right? And we're continuing to have this conversation hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And as you sit and listen and learn, it takes the pressure off of you. Let us do the talking as you're, you know, kind of getting going with these people that you have, right? And so the scripts right at leadersrisehere.com. Step 2, 80% of this business, you guys, is inviting and presenting. It really is. Inviting and presenting, 80% of this business. So to really say, you know, gosh, you're on my heart, use the script. I thought of you because, you know, if I could show you a way to do it, would you just check it out? You know, we were just at a family thing, and one of Jake's cousins was, you know, asking questions, and how are you doing this? And you don't seem spammy, you don't seem annoying, you know, and we're just talking to them. We're like, yeah, no, we grow and we attract a team of high integrity, savvy, classy, like-minded people who are just simply, they see the business model and it just makes sense. And so it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a follow-up. Hey, will you just check out this webinar? 35 minutes. If you watch it and it's not for you, we never have to speak about it again. That's okay. Just come check it out. It's such an easy, non-confrontational way, non-intimidating way for them to plug in. Yes, Jamie, they're starting on Wednesday. And we're really excited about it. We really are. You know, Zach Slobin does webinars. You may see him post about them in Start, Isagenix Business. They are really good. We purposefully picked a different time of day so that if those ones might resonate with your person, that's totally cool. We also know the power of getting on a webinar, and if they are digging it and they're like, oh, well, I want to talk to them, or I want to talk to Jake, or I want to talk to Elson, we can right out of there, boom, set up a 3-way call and help answer their questions and get them going, right? So we wanted to provide something where it's like, fold right on in. This is our team. These are our people. I'm in the pictures, right? I'm hanging out, you know, all the time. So yes, Jamie, this Wednesday and every Wednesday and Sunday going forward. Yeah. For a long time.
And it will end with a call to action. So, you know, like,
yep.
Get back to the person who told you about this.
Totally.
Like, we are going to send them back to you.
Yep.
They may have more questions. They may want to get more information. Hopefully they'll be ready to just go. You know, we're going to show them the importance of, you know, finding their spot and really giving this a chance. And, you know, the importance of that will all be laid out throughout the thing. So be ready for that, and just know that will be coming, and that's something that you can follow up with as well.
And the early part of the comp plan to really say, you know, this is how you get into the organization with the person who invited you, you know, and there's there's a benefit to saying yes right away. There's always a cost to waiting and hemming and hawing. So, you know, really just, you know, Zach talks about that. He talks about, you know, the person who invited you is inviting. Their train is moving. You guys, this Isagenix train is moving. So we will say the train is moving. If you want to hop in and get your position started, now is the time, and we'll show exactly what that looks like, right? So, you know, I would say passion, fire, excitement, and then just being really smart about it. there's no reason for people not to look at network marketing right now. If there are people that you think, you know, in your head, gosh, they wouldn't love it, they'd think it's dumb, they hang up around it. You know, Barbie put a beautiful post in Leaders Rise here this week about, you know, gosh, she's done. She's like, I'm done making decisions for people, because people are making decisions for themselves. They really are, you guys. And people are home. They're home. We're in a pandemic. Like, you can't write this stuff. We couldn't make this up if we tried, right? And so I just think about, people are looking for a new chapter in their lives. There are people on this team who we've talked to who, you know, are like, okay, now's my time, because guess what? I really enjoyed not commuting. You know, that commute that I talk about in my story, others are feeling that pain and they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. Or, you know, they're like, gosh, my job isn't so secure. I want a plan B, right? So we'll be talking about it as a plan B, as a plan A eventually. I mean, all the things. And so I would say use the flyer, use the inviting and presenting tab on Leaders Rise here, or on the PDF. If you printed out the PDF for the Business Boom, they're both really, really good. I mean, they're the same content. And then, you know, it's a really good time. 2.0, all this stuff. I just encourage you to, you know, step into that invitation to this. And you know what, if you're rocking it without the webinar and you're like, I don't know, cool, keep rocking it. You by no means have to use this. It's just simply here because we see a need. And part of the place where our organization is at now, when we see a need for the team, for leadership development, for growth, right? It's not just matching people to products, but it's making sure we have the best dang system for people to plug into. And guess what? You bring someone in through this system, they get on the webinar and they love it. And they're like, okay, I'm in, what do I do? Guess what they can do? They can invite people to the webinar. They can fold people in. It's so duplicable to say, you know, oh gosh, that webinar made sense to me. I'm going to work hard to get as many people on the webinar as I can. Yes, Barbie, good point. I appreciate you saying that. I challenge you to use the webinar, even if you think you're okay without it. Someone might be way more interested in the opportunity if they hear it from someone else. I totally agree with that. So thank you for saying that.
And a lot of times, you know, somebody says maybe they're interested, and then you sit down and you go, okay, there's 50 different videos, 100 different flyers. What am I going to send this person that lands? We're going to hit on almost everything, and all it's going to take is 30 minutes of their time. Like, this is a tool that will kind of hit on everything.
Yep.
So it shouldn't be, you know, we get that question a lot. Like, you know, this person is like this. They said they're interested. What tool would you use for them? I would use this. This would be, you know, a webinar like this would be a go-to tool if you're not sure. Even if you are sure, send them that tool and send them the webinar.
Yeah, I love that. And at leadersrisehere.com, under step 2, I just want to confirm it's step 2. There's a video that I did a team call about edification earlier this spring. Many of you may remember it.
It was dynamic.
Edification, where did I put that? It's on Leaders Rise here. Oh, step 3, under get paid and get your people paid. Step 3, at the bottom was a team training I did this spring. So it's all about how you edify, how you get them on the webinar, the words you use, how to say, okay, please, you know, I would love to have you check this out. You said you're looking for this goal. You know, my friend Jake has done XYZ things. You're going to love him. He's super casual. It's really talking up the webinar, not hypey, but just sharing the facts that it's going to be a very comfortable situation and they're going to want to hear from the person speaking. So that edification, it's out under step 3 if you want to check it out. Okay. Any questions?
Oh, Becca has a question
Becca,
here.
cool.
You speak a little bit to the compliant. Can you speak a little bit to the compliance part with not involving pandemic speak into discussing the business with people?
Yeah,
do you want me to clarify that? I don't know if that was clear.
Yeah, speak a little more about that.
Yeah, I want to make sure I answer you.
So I just want to make sure that I have it clear, not crossing the line. So like in the back office, you know, they've had like their little postings about compliance reminders recently, and they had little tidbits in there about like, make sure that you're not, I think they didn't want people to like take advantage of the situation or tell, I'm sure it's still, you know, you got to make sure your earnings these are not typical or kind of thing. But they also say like, don't use hashtags like these times or they had like a couple lists of hashtags of things that, you know, are about this. So I just want to hear kind of where you guys are as far as how much do you talk about the current situation and bringing that into the conversation?
That's a good
Like
question.
in person when we're talking with people? Or are you talking about
Um,
specifically?
Well, I think both. I think both, like whether it's like a social media post or if you're talking to somebody one-on-one, like one-on-one, it'll be easier to kind of explain, but just make sure we're not.
It's a
Yeah.
good question.
Catching up.
Do you know what you want to say?
Well, I was just going to say I don't bring it up when talking with people one-on-one unless they posted something like, you know, just lost my job or just had my hours cut during the pandemic. Like, I'm not bringing it up and asking, you know, are you afraid to lose your job? Are you thinking the sky is going to fall? Like, I'm not pandering to fears that way and trying to plant those seeds. But if somebody comes in with that and I can help ease their pain and show them a way that maybe they can help bridge the gap, if they're willing to put in the work and work on the skills. This is not a guaranteed, you know, money situation. You know, we go through that whole thing. That's my one-on-one that I would say.
Sure. And I mean, the truth of the matter is I was laid off from Target after 17 years of working with Target. I really was. And so, you know, and that was during great times. Target just had made some decisions, you know, we were in Canada, they pulled out of Canada, whatever. So I think for me, it's more about saying, you know, the world, the new normal, right? The world is as it is. People are working differently. You know, I wouldn't specifically cater to fear. I wouldn't want someone joining out of fear anyways. You know, and so, I mean, it's a very good point. And I will go through exactly what they said and avoid the phrases that they said, as well as I will say social media. I mean, that's, you know, that's where something is there and it's static forever and ever, and hashtags can be searched, you know. So, and I also think some of it is related to immune. You know, we're never supposed to relate the words COVID with, or any COVID words with, the product use either, which, I mean, I wouldn't do at all. So.
No. And as far as on the, you know, the webinar, it's not going to be a main focus.
Mm-mm.
It's just going to be, you know, telling stories. Like, we've had people come to us because they have lost jobs, because there's been layoffs, because their unemployment checks ran out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be telling an anecdotal story, but not telling people they need to worry because everything is going to collapse and the only thing left standing will be Isagenix and network marketing. It won't be, you know, pandering that way. But I think you do have to talk about the state of the state, like this, like how we're living in these times that we're living in. I think you have to at least acknowledge that things are different now. And if things are going to be different, maybe it's time to think different, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, we'll double check through everything and make sure that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to cross any lines. Someone could be on, you know, from wherever they could find the Zoom and log in. So I don't want to cross the lines. I think it's more just the state of the economy in the 21st century, right? I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, the business of the 21st century, that had nothing to do with the pandemic. It's more about, you know, working in so many different ways. And this model really makes sense. And so much of what we are presenting has nothing to do with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Even if a few stories in there do. Does that help? Good. And if, please, I mean, if you hear or see something specific, send it our way. That's super important to us. Protecting the company, for sure.
Any other questions? Excuse me, from anyone?
I've got a question. Yeah, I've got a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll take, I know we're at the end here, so we can talk about it later perhaps, but, and if it's on Leaders Rise here, maybe just direct me, but, so I'm okay with like leading with the business, but then what I have trouble with or thinking about is like, how do you go from that to then like enrolling people on the value pack, or like getting them like, okay, well, no, you need to have like if they're totally fit, or like, how do you transition into,
Yeah.
they want to do the business. Okay, well, let's get you started and experience what, you know, everybody else is going to experience, or how just, what
Yes.
do you say, or,
That sounded really good to me.
Yeah, and that is a great, you know, so, and on the webinar, so right after the piece about the hours, then it's, okay, and how do we do this? It's referring products, and you want to have a really good product experience, and people will start where you start. And so to do like an overhaul of your body to really, I mean, just internally to really feel good and to have, you know, both the meals, snacks, and vitamin and mineral support, we strongly recommend the value pack. And the cool thing is, if you start with 2 people on the value pack, your pack is really only $89, you know, because you're going to get $500 back. So, you know, people, and you know, we lay out all the different options, but that's the one we will put on the webinar so people can see. We'll say, you know, you get all of this, and you know, you want to do the business. This is, I mean, really, for someone that is open to the business and they're going to get their products paid for right away. You know, I mean, I came in saying yes to the business, and that first month I covered my products with just a couple of enrollments, right? It's like, okay, come on in, get all the products so that you can really speak to them, so you feel really good. The value pack is the best way to go. It also comes with an event coupon, and it comes with a product coupon for the second month. So it just makes sense. How does that sound? And usually, right, and I know others in other network marketing companies, you know, they're spending $500 to $1,000 on some big sample kit. You know, it's very common. So
Perfect. Yes, thank you.
Yep. Also, as we go through like talking about the solo entrepreneur kind of piece, you know, I plan on touching on, you know, to do that, you're going to be investing anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 to $1 million to get yourself going. And it's going to be an average of 3 years before you turn a profit. And then as we get into, you're interested in starting this network marketing company, you know, getting these products for $589 and finding your 2 accountability people, your 2 people who you're going to run with, you know, to get that, the entry is just, it's not even close.
And to be in the green so fast, to be profitable so fast. You know, I mean,
we'll talk about that
money.
as it's you share,
You know?
they share, you're profitable immediately if that happens in your first,
Yeah.
you know, 30 days, even 60 days, depending on what your second month's order is. Like you're in the green in 60 days as opposed to 1,000 days.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you guys.
Good.
Good.
No, Lisa, I love it. Great question. Awesome. Anything else? Shoot us a note if you have anything specific. You guys are rocking it. So good to see you. We'll see those of you that want to come in noon Central Wednesday. Hop on. If you have people, great. If you don't, hop on and it'll just put a little fire under you for Sunday. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.